Hey John, sometimes it's a little easier to kind of describe things rather than show you in pictures. So I'm going to use the Pursuit switch panel as an example of how it's wired. You notice it has circuit breakers rather than fuses, but if you see on each circuit breaker, you have the feed from the helm feed powering the circuit breaker, and then you have individual jumpers here, that feed the switches. You notice those are Carling switches, exactly the same ones you have. You see this heavy gauge 10 gauge, right? That 10 gauge right here, that goes to the first breaker in line right over here. Just happens to be the 12 volt outlet. And then you can see it's daisy chained all the way down the line. That energizes each breaker. In your case, fuse holder. Then the other blade of the fuse holder, in this case a breaker, but it's the same concept, feeds each switch. Now as you can see, it goes to the middle position of each switch, whereas each function, the wire from each function, is on the bottom position. You'll see that the ground, which is, as we talked about, is that top terminal there, is daisy chained to each one, and then I've got it actually a butt splice ready to accept the ground going. See, I have a ground bus bar right there, but I've got to tie in a couple more grounds to this, so it's ready to accept what I want to tie into it. So that's basically the way that your switch panel is set up. Is you want that heavy gauge wire to feed the first breaker in line, and then just jump from breaker to breaker to breaker to breaker to breaker, or in your case fuse holder, fuse holder, fuse holder. And then coming off the other side of the fuse holder is the feed that energizes the switch, and that goes to the middle position. The bottom position is the pump, the light, whatever you want to power. The top position, of course, is the ground for the indicator light. So, hope it helps.